Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We continue to see a very strong bullish market. The previous session, we started to see a breakout from that narrow range, the one we talked about before with the key range here. And as soon as we started to get a breakout here, it was apparent early on that we could see a trend day up, and that's pretty much what played out here in the ES. A very solid trend day up. The NQ had even a stronger day, and now we're holding at highs in a narrow range digestion day after the trend. That's very expected. Normally, if you see a rejection of that high, you start to quietly walk back toward the midpoint of the expansion day, the midpoint being 2820. Any pullback toward that zone likely to be defended. So today we could see some early weakness followed by strength and then a turnaround. For the most part, could be a digestion day ahead of the next push higher, but we continue to see further overall strength. Very, very bullish behavior. Nothing really slowing things down. The NQ, very similar. Again, we were watching this impulse range right here, that impulse move when it rallied, sold off, and bounced back to the mid. That gave us this key range. We traded mostly in the upper half of the distribution of that range, and then we started to see upside expansion yesterday. Led to a great price discovery phase. We were looking for a move to about 69.19 based off a 5-day 125% ADR. That actually surpassed that target, and so very nice move overall. Again, today is a digestion day after a big trend day. That typically leads to a narrow range day. Fade the edges if you need to engage, or look to buy the deepest pullback here for another shot at new highs. Let's take a look at crude oil. Right now, crude oil actually saw a little bit more of a rejection yesterday. I mentioned to our traders that off the 63 here, we've gotten the initial bounce that we wanted to see Friday, but we really haven't seen any real follow through, and instead price was hanging out at or below the day's mid, the previous day's mid, for much of the session. It wasn't until late in the day where we saw a big rally, and then it sold off hard, and then it bounced again. So right now, again, we're still in this range, very narrow range. We've been in an uptrending market. The idea primarily was that bulls would defend for a shot at retesting highs at 65 basically, and then perhaps pushing through that target. We still have our upward sloping trigger zone here, very clear LVN on the profile. So even if we were to dip down again, bulls still looking to defend this zone for another continuation higher. So right now it looks like we're still inside the key range for a while, still building out. Eventually we'll see expansion from that range. Here's a look at gold futures. Very similar price action to crude oil. Very strong move here. Recently we've had some sideways here, an expansion day, and more sideways. Overall, we've continued to trend higher, so the expectation is that bulls would continue to defend for a shot at 1354 and perhaps higher. But again, got to continue to watch the range. This narrow range right here could lead to whipsaws either way. If we were to drop down first, it could be another pop opportunity, so keep that in mind given the stacked and slope relationship. Lastly, we'll follow up here with XBT. This is Bitcoin basically breaking down below the key range low. We had a rejection day and a couple of days here where absorption was occurring, but on Monday we were failing to really see any real bounce off the midpoint there. We were holding at that level. It really wasn't giving the bounce that you want to see, and again, if it's not showing rejection, it's not likely to reject. And if you're going to close below the midpoint of a potential rejection day, then usually you come out and take out that low 9 times out of 10. Today, what we're seeing is an open below it. After the close below it, price came back into the zone as being rejected. Again, that opens the door to another stop run below. This time we could truly get 9,000, getting below the 92.50 low, and we could even be looking at a push into 7,000 or perhaps as low as the next target, which would be 6,700. So again, very, very clear behavior we're seeing here. Not a whole lot of buying participation. This is the second time after deep sell-offs that we really haven't seen the buying participation to push this thing back up. That's concerning right now, and failing to hold 10,500 opens up the potential to seeing another round of weakness ahead. So keep that in mind. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this market plays out. I do have one quick announcement. If you take a look at pivotboss.com and click on news, down here, the second news item, trading techniques for 2018. It's a webinar for tomorrow. It's a traders exclusive webinar with a lot of great speakers. I'll be the last speaker on the list just after Carly Garner here from 3:45 to 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. If you register using any of these links here, you'll gain access to the entire group of speakers, or you can pop in and out of whichever speakers you want to listen to. So go ahead and register for that event there. I'll be going live tomorrow. I'll be talking about executing precision swing trading techniques from 3:45 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out the rest of the day. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you soon.